Hey everyone, thanks for joining the video today. We're going to be doing here on Bitcoin. Of course, before I get started, this isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your research, and just giving my opinion on the market here. So what I want to take a look at, of course, is the obvious recent price action that we've got going on here. I'm going to take a look at this chart live. I'm going to make some changes to it, just kind of talk about some of the levels that are important here to us, some levels that we have passed, some levels that we are just pushing right up against right now. And, of course, I'm just giving my opinion here. So we'll just kind of take this with all a grain of salt, right? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Of course, we know that we are just ramming our head up against this upper of our channel here. You can take a look at this from a couple different perspectives. You take a look at it from a log scale, it looks a little bit different. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this because I'm planning on making some changes to this here. Getting rid of that channel. I'm going to actually be putting a different style channel on this because it does look like we are, working on creating a little bit more of a complex move here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take a fib channel from the top up here, and I'm going to go down here to this top, right? I'm going to just attach it right to that, and then I'm going to get my channel out from about right here. And from this point, again, we pay attention to the yellow and the green, and then we're going to pay attention to the red. All right, so the yellow and the green. So we've got a yellow upper down here, we've got a yellow lower down here, and then we have another yellow lower down here. Then we have a yellow upper up here. And we're kind of ramming up against that yellow upper right now. So this is what's going to happen. We are either going to push through this level here, which is at 8,800. And if we push above 8,800, it is very possible that we go up here to this white area, which is going to be right around 9,500. Very possible that that is a target that we should be keeping an eye on. As far as the geometry goes, I think it makes sense for us to come up here to this range. If we get rejected here at 88, and we'll call it 88.25. If we get rejected here, well, more than likely we are going to at least come back down to this white area, which is going to be down here at about 78.80. Okay, it would be very easy for this to happen. And if that did happen, then a lot of people are going to pull out their head and shoulder memes. They're going to say, oh, well, here's your left shoulder, here's your head, and then we're making the right shoulder, and now we're going to go all the way down to $1. All right, so that's not going to happen. All right. Of course, we could go down. We're not going to go down that low. From a head and shoulder perspective, really we would be looking to go back to where the run started, which is going to be down here at about 68.50. But lots and lots can happen here, and I'm not going to get too overly bullish, but I can realize that we do have room to go up. We've got lots of shorting interest that has just spiked here recently. All right, so we have growth. We have, what's the word I'm looking for? We have an appreciation in value. We have a markup in the price of Bitcoin while longs were closing. And seriously, longs closing on Bitfinex. You can see that very easily. That longs have been closing at a rapid pace, but the price has been going up. So that's spot absorption. Okay, that's spot absorption. That means that people are taking spot positions here. The longs are closing. Of course, they took tons of profit there, right? So there is spot absorption in the market, and longs are closing. Now shorts are starting to spike. Okay, shorts are starting to spike. So of course, we're right here at a critical area where it would make sense. It would be a good gamble to be shorting in this area. Shorting up here where everybody is starting to talk about going up to new all-time highs. If everybody's talking about it, chances are it's either going to front run wherever their target is, or it's just going to blow right through it. So, everybody right here is talking about this being our resistance, okay? And we've hit it, right? So we've hit this target. We have a couple wicks above it. We're looking at a 12-hour time frame, and all three of the most recent 12-hour candles have wicked above this yellow line, this yellow trend line, which is important. So it leads me to believe that we probably can come up here. Most people are talking about 9,000. People are talking about a rejection at 9,000, talking about the Vegeta memes and all this and that. Whatever that may be, I think that we are in The third wave, we're putting in wave 4, which can come back down to about 84.50 or something like that. I'm interested in some short-term long positions here in this range. A lot of people are talking about shorting, but any long position, you're not going to want to hold that for a long time because obviously your rate of return is pretty bad. Pretty bad. You know, your rate of return is going to be greater for short positions here in this range, and long positions don't have a really good rate of return compared to what shorts would have. Nonetheless, I do think that we did complete you know, a little bit of an impulse here. I'm going to remove this because that's not exactly valid at this point. But this does look like we created a 1. I'm going to get rid of the ABC because I think the ABC scenario is gone. Okay, so we have a 1 and then we have a 2. Okay, so we've got a 1, 2 on a higher degree. So let's go ahead and just outline this so we can kind of put a little bit of a, you know, a track to this, right? And this is actually going to be on an even higher time frame. So we'll just call this the cycle. Okay. All right, so we've got our 3, and right now we're putting in a 4. Okay, we didn't quite tag the 1618, but we got pretty darn close to it, right? So we capped out at, let's see here, that high was 89.16, that high was 8900, and okay, so 89.16, when the target for a 3 was 89.35. We got pretty darn close to it. I would say that that's pretty valid for a 3 wave. Okay, so again, we talk a lot about this rejection here at the 123.6, which led me to believe this could have been an ABC. We had a significant pullback there, but we didn't really violate this 1 wave. Okay, we kept that as support. That was a good retest of support. Now, of course, we all know that I got stopped out on my long there. I'm pretty salty about it, but it happens. No big deal. And then we've seen a nice move to the upside, and this looks like a 1, 2, 3 up here, and now we're coming in for a 4, maybe a 5 that we're going to eventually be hitting here. And so this is going to be this 4 that we're currently putting in right now. And let's go ahead and move to a lower time frame and let's measure this. And again, I'm going to be looking for a test of maybe it's going to be 9,400. Maybe it won't quite come up here. We'll see. We'll kind of wait and see what happens. But let me move it down to a 2-hour time frame and take a look and see what we've got here. And I realize there's a lot on this chart, so I apologize ahead of time. I've got a lot going on here. So again, we've got this 1, 2, and then we've got this 3 that we just put in. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this trend-based fib, and I'm going to remove this one as well, just to clean things up a bit, because we know that there are technical points behind that. I'm going to remove this box here. I'm going to keep this red box, because this red box has been something we've been keeping an eye on for resistance, and it was resistance. We had a nice consolidation inside of it, then we ripped to the upside. So I would expect a retest of this to be met with lots of support at this point. But let's just see how far down we could go. So measuring the length of the 2 to the 3, and on a wave 3, we're going to look for potentially a move down to the 382. I'm going to put the 236 on here as well because I think that's going to be important for us to keep an eye on. That's going to be right there, you know, right around 8,400. So we may only come down to the 236. We may not come down to the 382. And the only reason why I say that is that, you know, we had lots of consolidation in here. If I pull up the volume profile, I bet there would be a decent amount of volume here in this range. You know, of course, we ripped to the upside, we ripped to the downside, and then we basically filled out that volume profile here in this range when we had this bullish consolidation. And then we ripped to the upside. We currently are trading above this line. So I would say, you know, anywhere between the 55 and the 21 exponential on the 2-hour time frame, that's what I'm looking at right now, which is going to be about 8,400 to about 8,600. Those are going to be good areas to pick up maybe spot positions, maybe some low leverage long positions. I'm never an advocate for high leverage, but nonetheless, I would say that somewhere in this range down to the 236, because if this is a 1, 2, 3, and now we're putting in a 4, you know, really our high probability is the 382, but on a strong market, we're going to be looking for this 236. Now, that's not to say this thing can't wick down here to the 382. I would be interested in just blindly putting some bids down here, at least for short term, for the next couple days, putting them down here to the 8,000 to 8,100 range. Now, just one quick note on that. When I talk about blindly placing bids, there is a certain amount of time and there is a certain, certain structure that has to fall into play for a blind bid to be placed. I am expecting that this is going to just have a nice strong wick to the downside for this order to fill. If this slowly works its way down to here to the 382, I'm going to remove those bids. I'm going to remove those bids. I'm looking for basically something like this to happen in order for me to keep those bids in place. So basically what we've got, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, and then you got this wick to the downside and then an instant spring to the upside. That's where I would be interested in keeping those bids in place. But if we start to see something like this, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, I'm not so sure I'm going to keep those bids there. Basically, I'm looking for a violent move down to the downside for me to keep those bids there. If it starts to organically move its way slowly down to the 382, I'm going to be removing those bids. I would put those bids down there at that algo target simply for wick catching. And to catch a wick means you have to have a violent move to the downside. If we're not getting violent moves, I'm not going to keep that bid there. Okay, but I will be interested in buying the 236 if we organically move our way down to the 236. Wick catching at the 382, organic catching down to the 236, and then we'll kind of wait and see what happens. It is also important for this 236 to hold because that was the top back here. So we need to have this hold. And again, target to the upside. This is going to be fitting pretty good at about 9,500. Again, I was talking about 9,500 already. 9,500 is likely where that target is going to be sitting. Just shy of 9,500. It could be that we get a front run. But then, I wouldn't be interested in shorting here either. I'm not interested in shorting here. Just to be clear, I am interested in some scalping long positions. So scalps you're not going to hold on to those for very long. Scalps, swings, I guess a scalp you probably would only hold for, maybe 10, 15 minutes. So this maybe would be a swing. You'll be in a swing trade for maybe a day or two. Trying to catch this. Now, also, one thing that I do want to point out, we've got this length of the 1 to the 2, the length of time from the 1 to the 2. Let's just take a look at this. I don't do this very often, but I do want to pay attention to it. The length of time. So basically, I'm going to measure the time it took to correct from the 1 to the 2, and I'm going to project it from the top of the 3. So it could be that we're going to be in this 4 wave. Maybe we're only going to be in it until the 21st. Now, keep in mind, the 21st is 6 days away. So we could be up here for a decent amount of time before we make this rip to the upside. And then we've got our 1-to-1 correlation here on the 25th. We also have the 27th. So it is very possible, and in my opinion, very probable that January is a green month. And what a lot of people have been saying is we haven't seen a green January in at least 3 years. So taking a look at this, the monthly open was right around here. And if we do close this at 9,500, that means January would have potentially had a 32% month. Okay. So be very careful shorting right now because this is looking like a 3 that we just created, and we are creating a 4 right now. And then we're going to be looking to come up here to this 5. Areas of invalidation, of course, breaking the 382 makes this a weaker move to the upside, which would lead me to believe that 9,500 won't hit, and we maybe are just going for a double top. Maybe we get a truncated 5th, but this is a 1, 2, 3. There's no doubt about that. We're going to be working on a 4, and then we're going to be looking for a move to the upside for the 5. Where this corrects to is going to be what determines where we are going to be moving up to. If we only come down here to the 236, which is kind of what I'm expecting to happen, if we only come down here to the 236, that's a strong move. I say 9,500 is very possible. If we come down here to the 382, I don't think it's going to be as strong of a move to the upside. It depends on how it gets there. Again, if it goes there very rapidly on a wick, then I do think that we still have that potential for 9,500. If it slowly gets down to the 382, you got to be very careful. Got to be very careful holding that, because that means basically we're chewing through all of these orders, and there's a lot of absorption from spot sellers that's going to be taking this down. If we slowly come down to the 382, chances are we may be going lower. You just have to watch the reaction. You need to have a reaction here at the 382, a bullish reaction. Maybe we're going to get some hidden bullish divergence, whatever that may be. You're going to need to have a nice rejection there at the 382, which is at about $8,050. But again, the next area of invalidation is really actually going to be down here at the 618. If we get down here to the 618, really this impulse is, it doesn't look very good at all. It actually would invalidate a lot of things, hitting this target right here at $7,700. $7,700 really has to hold, at least for right now. But again, 9,500 is the bullish target. And then we're going to kind of assess things from there, because really what that would have been, if we do get up there to 9,500, let me go ahead and pull this out just a little bit to 9,500, taking this potentially up to about right here, which would be the completion of a larger 1 degree. Then we're going to start working on a correction. And again, we've got like an ABC correction that we'd be working on here. Getting us down, starting of course from the top of that 1, working ourselves down to potentially, an ABC scenario. And actually this falls in place pretty nicely to come down for the 2. And again, we're talking about February potentially being a red month in this case. So we've got leap year, so there's 29 days in February this year, but it's very possible that February is going to be a red month based on this. Now, of course, we know price isn't going to just continue going up forever. And if we do get that 9,500 target, we're going to take the low here all the way up here to our potential high. And then we're going to want to see a move down here to the 50. All right, we're going to see a strong move. If this is going to be a strong reversal, right? So if this is a reversal, we're going to see a move down here to 7,700. And then that's going to be where things are going to need to be turning around. And again, maybe we're going to stay above this trend line. If we're going to continue this may actually go all the way out here for this wave 2 to complete. Again, we have to take a look and see how much time did it take for wave 1 to complete, and then how much time is it going to take for us to correct that move, because there's going to be a correction. So let's start from the bottom of the first wave, measure to the top here, and you can see I've got 25%, 50%, 75%, and then 100% the length of our wave 1. All right, so it could be that this only comes down here to the 382. Based on this, 1.75 the length of this this first wave for the correction. Very possible that we do only come down here to about 8,200. Again, we're just going to kind of have to wait and see what happens. I'm not going to keep this time length on here because we haven't really gotten up there yet. We don't know if that's going to be where it ends. Nonetheless, I do think January is going to be a bit of a green month, and it is going to potentially be showing signs of a reversal. I have my levels of invalidation. I've already talked about the 236 being our organic zone, the 382 being the wicking zone for a potential move up here to the 5 at 9,500. If we break down below this red area on this move, then I do think that that likely this was a fake out, and we are going to go ahead and continue to move back down. I still have my targets set down here in the mid 6,000 range. It is very possible for us to come back down here. That's all that I've got on Bitcoin right now. I've talked and rambled along for long enough, so I do appreciate you guys for sticking out with me here for this last 18 minutes. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and wherever you are in the world, hopefully you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening.